I was going to go easy on you, not to hurt your feelings.
You f***ing irritate the shit out of me!
I'm only going to get this one chance. It's just a feeling I've got. Like something's about to happen, but I don't know what.
All I hear, go get the money. So I go get it. Hate means I do something.
Hey, what's going on, peeps? Welcome to Gap, Sell, Keenan 33. That's we are. This is where a real salesperson conducts a real sales call with me to see if me or my company have a problem they can solve. And if they do, we will buy. If they cannot, they must subject themselves to critique to the world live. I know, I am a tough crowd. So with that, today we have a Marc Roberts. Let's bring in Marc. Marc, my man, welcome, baby.
What's going on, Keenan? Excited to be here.
Oh, me too. You know I love these. I love these. So you going to sell me today?
I'm going to try to. We're going to see what happens. I got to keep the positive attitude that I will, so let's give it a shot.
All right. I like it. All right, listen, I'll give you a couple minutes or a couple seconds or whatever you want just to at least give me a ballpark understanding of what it is you actually sell, and then the floor is yours.
All right. So what I do is we sell background screening to companies to make sure that their brand is protected. We want to make sure you get the best possible candidates for the position.
Okay, background screening. All right, go.
All right, perfect. So, Keenan, I'm not going to take up a lot of your time. I know you're busy, so I'm just going to get straight to it. Earlier on in the year, I noticed that you hired a couple of new employees. I'm just wondering if you could tell me about that, the circumstances where you needed to hire more people.
We had a salesperson last year, and God, what else did we do? I think we just hired a salesperson, and then we just hired another salesperson a month ago.
Oh, okay. Can you tell me a little bit about that process? Like what was involved when you were hiring them?
We put out a job description, put it out on LinkedIn. Ours are a little abnormal. We make people tell us why they think they'd be good for the fit. Then we interview them and bring them on. I don't know.
Oh, okay. So how do you know that they're going to be a right fit for your brand? Like what type of research do you do into them? Great
question. So one of the things we do is we don't ask for resumes. I don't give a shit about your resume, especially for sales, right? So we make them, first thing we do is we ask them to do some things. Send us an email telling us why you'd be a good fit. That's the first thing they have to do instead of an email. That already starts to tell us good how they've responded to that email, if they even respond, if they follow the instructions, if they do what they're asked. Like, our whole process is designed to find out if they'd be a good fit.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Mm-hmm. So if I understand you correctly, you are saying that you're relying more on what you can see them do than what you hear from other people. Is that correct?
Yeah. And then we see their profiles. In many cases, we can see what content they're sharing, if they've interacted with us before. So, for instance, Ryan, who our last hire, he was very active on social. We saw him; he interacted with our salespeople. So we get a feel for the people we hire before we actually hire them.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Have you had any employees leave the company in the last couple of years?
Last couple of years. Couple of years. No, not in the last couple of years. No.
Okay.
I think the last person to leave the company was 3 years ago. It was 3 years ago, or maybe 2.5. So we're getting close.
Okay. Do you mind elaborating on the reasons why they left?
We hired wrong.
Okay. So
have you read
hired wrong?
Stop. Have you read Gap Selling?
I have, yes.
Okay. I gave you a great one to lead into. I said we hired wrong. I don't know what page is. I don't have the book in front of me. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
What do I tell people to do when you get an open-ended answer like that?
To define it.
So I said we hired wrong, and you were just going to accept that on the fucking service and move on. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Jesus, come on, man. I mean, that was a softball. We hired wrong. Go.
Can you define hiring wrong?
Yeah, so the person wasn't a perfect fit. This was going into 2018. We knew that we had the person we wanted to hire. The person we wanted to hire turned us down. Biggest mistake they ever made. This person wasn't perfect, but we had these goals. We meant to. We didn't want to fall behind on the goals, so we thought we could make it work. And we never should have hired him in the first place.
Okay. Was there monetary repercussions because of that?
Yeah, I mean, we didn't make our numbers in 18. We paid him. I don't know if it affected our numbers. I think we still did our numbers, but we paid him. You know, by the time we paid him for the 2 months he was there, I don't know, we probably lost about 10, 15 grand.
Oh, okay. Now, how did losing that money affect the company going forward?
I mean, look, no one likes to lose 15K, but there's nothing discernible I can say because we lost that 15K, we lost this. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't like losing 15K. What I think we lost more of was time.
Oh, okay.
See, I'm being nice today.
Yeah, I know you are.
We lost time.
So can you define what you mean by time?
Yeah, I mean, we lost. That's a person that was on for 2 months. We trained them. We had to go through all the bullshit of setting them up and getting them on all the platforms and giving the email addresses and then training them and spending time with them for 2 months, and they didn't produce a damn thing. And then after that was over, we had to spend another, I don't know how long it was before we hired a new person. I can't remember, probably another year. We went another year without somebody.
Okay. And what was the morale of the company when all this was going on?
Look, we're a small company. I think there was 4 of us at the time, four of us full time, and a handful of 1099s. So, I mean, I like the question you're asking, and if I were a bigger company, that makes sense. But it was small. You're nimble, you're agile. It was like, what a fucking idiot move. We took blame ourselves. We knew we shouldn't have hired him. That fucking sucked. He was a bonehead. We saw it coming a mile away. It's our fault, and so it is what it is. Okay.
Looking back on it now, do you think there's anything you could have done pre-hire to weed him out so you wouldn't have had to deal? No,
we knew. I know I asked a question, but you're kind of not listening, right? We knew we probably shouldn't have hired him. We knew he wasn't a fit, and we convinced ourselves, right? I think I even said that. We convinced ourselves. So this is why listening is important. I know I asked the question. It's a decent question under normal circumstances, but I had already told you we convinced ourselves. So I gave you information that we knew he probably wasn't a good fit, didn't I?
You did, yeah.
And you just glossed right over that like it didn't matter.
No, I guess I did, yeah.
And I know he's not a good fit.
So if you knew he was away, I knew you needed to hit your numbers when you hired him. But what made you hire him when you knew he was not a good fit besides just hitting your numbers?
Well, we thought we would reshape the role, right? So that it was a full-time account executive. He was originally an SDR. He interviewed to be the full AE, and we're like, he can't pull that off. But you know what? If we can use him as an SDR, he can generate the leads, and then Brady or I can try to close them, right? So we said, look, what we really need right now is someone to really do some outbound work and bring it in. That's the biggest piece. So let's just leave him in that role.
Okay. So if I'm understanding you correctly, you were willing to take a gamble on him to hopefully he would generate more meetings than he would be closing.
He would just generate meetings and leads. So we had a number for going into 2018. We knew we couldn't do it by ourselves. We needed outbound as well because we were all doing it inbound. The guy we wanted to hire said no. We didn't like this guy for a full-time AE, but maybe we can put him into a SDR role and him generate leads, and then we can close those leads ourselves and figure out the AE thing process. We just tried to fit him into it, and that was a mistake.
Okay, I understand. Now, because of what happened with him, did that change how you decided to hire? No,
not really. Again, we knew what we did wrong. It's not like we didn't know what we were doing and had to fix it. We deviated from what we were doing, so we went back to what we were doing.
Okay, that makes sense. So, because you just hired on Ryan not too long ago, are you going to be looking to hire anybody in the near future to growing your company?
Yeah.
Can you explain that a little bit? Like, what are your plans?
I see us, if we stay on target, I see us hiring 2 more people in the next 6 months.
Oh, okay. And are they going to be the same BDR roles as before, or are they going to be moving up to be AEs as well?
What we've done is actually we've done something different here. We are now hiring in teams, and what we do is we hire an AE BDR together, and they work together as a collaborative team with a shared overall quota.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're hiring the 2 people together, how do you know that they're going to be the right fit? How do you know they're going to gel together?
Oh, together with each other?
Yeah.
We'll have them talk to each other. They'll have to be fit the sales guy brand and culture. So most people who will fit the sales guy brand and culture fit each other. They work well together.
Okay. Can you define the sales guy culture and brand?
High energy, critical thinking, drive, passion for personal growth. We don't play games, no corporate politics. We have something called ROPE here, right? Reward, opportunity. Oh my God, I'm killing myself for the P. Reward, opportunity. I can't believe I forgot my own P. And the last one is energy or excitement. And so it's the idea that people get rewarded for what they do, opportunity for growth. P, I'm going to punch myself in the nose. It's just completely brain fried. And then he has energy. So when people have all of those types of things, it's fun to work here.
Okay. Interesting. So what would the repercussions be to the company and to your brand if you thought someone was a right fit?
That's a self-diagnosis question. Everybody asks self-diagnosis questions. Don't ask me a self-diagnosis question. Don't do it.
Okay.
So, all right, let me help you out a little. Let me help you out. Here's the problem. What's going on here, right? I'm going to ask you first, what type of background checks do you do?
We do everything. We do criminal record checks, credit checks. We do work history verifications, reference checks.
Okay. So what types of problems do people who have bad credit, screwed up reference checks, background, I guess, like criminal and stuff like that. What are the problems associated with people who fail those?
Oh, the main the associations that they fail with them is they might not be, I don't want to say trustworthy, but they might. Well, yeah, if they fail the reference checks, then they will have a trustworthy issue.
Yeah, I asked you what problems is a company going to have? Right?
Oh, the problems that they're going to have. They're just they could have bad hires. So that's kind of what I'm trying to lean into.
Okay. So here's the problem, right? You got, first off, there are certain industries where those types of things are worse than others, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So in more manual labor, more hourly worker. So let's say, for instance, milk truck drivers, right? They have this thing in my neighborhood called Dairy Royal Crest Dairy, right? I might want a background check for my truck drivers, right?
Yeah.
Because these people are going into people's neighborhoods. I'm giving them my truck. They got milk in the back. I don't need them giving the milk to their buddies. I don't need them stealing milk from their friends. I don't need them messing with the neighbors, right? So that's kind of a one. But a sales consulting firm that only has 4 people, that relies very, very heavily on social media, has a large following, and 9 out of 10 times I know the people, they know us before we even consider hiring them. Like, that doesn't seem like your ICP to me.
No, I don't think you are either. But I wanted to come on and give it a shot.
Okay. So one of these days, because look, and a lot of people do this, I think you're the second or third person out of the last 4 that I'm not a good ICP fit, and I knew it instantly. And they wanted to come on and give it a shot. Fine, but if you're going to come on and give it a shot, get there faster. Like get there faster. Like when I told you I've hired 1 person, 2 people in the last year, and only lost 1 person in the last 3 years, and I don't think I've ever fired anybody. I haven't had a bad hire. I've had 2 bad hires, actually, right? How is there a problem big enough for me to even want to spend 5 minutes talking about background checks?
There isn't.
There isn't, especially in an industry I'm in. I don't give anybody any money. They work from home. They don't have access to anything. They don't have access to my clients. They don't have access to my books. They don't have access to children. They're not driving my trucks. They're not in my warehouse. Like, the fucking risk to me is 0, right? If they're a douchebag, they're a douchebag. And I personally don't believe a background check, and I personally don't believe a credit check, and I personally don't believe a reference check. I guess the reference one kind of could play out, but I do those too, and that's a tough one. But anyways, it's got to dictate that I'm hiring a douchebag.
True enough.
In this space.
When you eventually start growing more and you start hiring a lot more people, it might be relevant then.
Might be.
Yeah. Well, Keenan, we're not a good fit. Thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me. And when you do start hiring more, and hopefully you don't have churn, but if there is, I'd love to work with you later on down the road. Okay.
So now what you're going to have to do if you want to work with me down the road and I have churn, that churn is going to have to be around, I like how Brady put it. The bad hire problem isn't they're bad people, right? Mm-hmm. It's a skill issue or skill fit or something like that. You don't do background checks for skills, right?
We do actually. Credit, we can do, for verifications of credentials.
Yeah,
but that's not really skills, yeah.
Yeah, no, and what did I tell you I don't do?
You don't do the background checks, and you don't care about that.
Nope. But I told you something I don't take from them. What I say I don't take from them. In the very beginning, I said we don't take something, we make them do something instead.
Oh, you don't take the resumes, and you make them prove themselves to you. So
so I don't need a background check to say, did they really go to college? I don't see. Again, these are all types of things are important. I don't ask for college degrees. I don't give a fuck if you went to college. I really don't give a fuck if you went to high school, to be perfectly frank, right? I don't care if you work in SaaS. I don't care if you work for 1 year, 5 years, 7 years. I don't care. I don't care what you've done. Now, when it comes time to hire my CFO someday, okay, yeah, I kind of do care that you went to college, and I kind of do care that you can actually do the job of CFO, right? But we're not engineers here. We're not chief financial officers. We're not law firms. You don't need college or anything to be able to do this, right? You can do it or you can't, okay? So the credential piece, not a need, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's the key piece. I like where you're going. I think you're heading in the right direction. If I was a bigger company and if I was your ICP, I think you would have done a decent job. I think you would have started getting some of the answers you were looking for to see if you could help them out, right? So,
yeah, I kind of knew I was going to not be able to sell you anything when I hired on. I just wanted to do it to get the experience, to get the training from you as well. And yeah, it was awesome. I wanted to get ranted at by Keenan.
Okay, it's too hard to rant on you. I mean, you asked fairly decent questions, right? So, yeah, I think it was just recognizing, or at least being open enough to recognize that my answer pretty much told you pretty quick, there's nothing here, right? This mine is, there's nothing in this mine. Let's get out. Let's go find let's dig a new hole.
Okay. So I guess what you're saying is I should have ended it like right away after you're
pretty quickly
talking about. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. When you heard, look, I don't know how much your services cost. I don't know if it's just on a when you need a thing or it's a subscription or whatever. But when you heard I'm only hiring 2 people in a year, and you heard that I haven't had a bad hire, and you heard that I don't use resumes, and you heard that I use social, and you heard that I have a process designed to weed them out, and you know that or you at least could have validated, again, they don't have access to my clients, they don't have access to my inventory, they don't have access to my money, they don't have access to children, all those things that background, can we agree that those are things that matter in background checks? Can we agree with that?
Yeah.
Right?
100%.
So if none of that stuff matters, there's really no risk to me hiring a felon. Right?
True enough. Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest, right? There's really, look, he even works at home. So don't even have to worry about him, harassing the women or harassing the men. Like, they work from home. They have access to nothing. So I deliver the service. So they can't even like sell it and then steal the money. Like there's nothing. So I'll hire the smartest fucking felon in the world right now. You're a felon and you're fucking smart as shit and you're on your way back. I'll hire you. Right. So I don't need back. Like nothing you offer helps me, even if I did have those issues. True
enough. Yeah. I was just going more like the way I was trying to go towards it was sort of like your branding issue. Like if you got the wrong person, they could affect your brand negatively.
Yes.
Because you never know about that, right?
Yes. But how's it going to affect my brand?
Well, I guess if somebody has skeletons in their closet and you don't know about it right away and then something pops up later on.
That's a huge,
that's a huge if.
That's a huge if, and that goes back, I don't talk about it in the book, I wish I did, but that goes back to selling risk. Do you ever see my thing on selling risk? High probability, high impact.
Yeah.
The probability of me hiring someone who's done something really fucked up in their past that comes out and negatively reflects on me, as long as they didn't do it with me, that's tiny. The only thing I could think of that if someone did in their past that would reflect poorly on me, that they're not doing now, would probably be some sort of sexual assault, right? And outside of that, if someone was a felon and robbed a bank 10 years ago and they've been clean since, if they didn't tell me, I'd be pissed they didn't tell me. But in my opinion, it hasn't affected me. As a matter of fact, I would see it as a plus in my brand because this guy's been performing well for us, or this girl's been performing well for us. They've been a model citizen, and we're giving them a second chance. So that's a plus in my brand. Any asshole that thinks we're dicks for hiring people on second chance, I want their fucking business anyways. Right? So again, when you try to put people in these boxes, you better think really long and hard about the box you try to put them in and make sure that's real.
Gotcha.
Right?
Great. Perfect. Okay. Hey, thank you so much, my man. I really appreciate it.
I got you, baby. Thanks for coming on.
Hey, no worries. You take care, brother.
All right, brother. Be good. Peace. All right, everybody. That was an interesting one. Quick, short. He was right. He knew it right out of the gate. I wasn't a good fit. But, all right, so we got another one coming up. If you want to gap sell me, right, text me right here. Text me right here, and we will get you in. If you have a product or service that you think we need, that we have a problem you can solve, hit us up. We'll have you on, and we'll let you sell me. And we'll buy it. If you find the problem, we'll buy it. We actually bought one last week, I think. I think we're done. We bought it from them. So, all right, bait peeps, you know what I'm going to say? I love you. Until next time, peace. I'm out.
All I hear, go get the money. So I go get it. Hate means I do something.